This has got to be the smallest full-frame ultra-wide lens, weighing in at only 116 grams. It is the Voigtlander Super Wide-Heliar 15mm f4.5 aspherical from 1999, with an impressive near-focus distance of 30 centimeters. And the 10-blade iris makes for some pretty cool sun stars. The aspherical design provides a sharp image with little distortion and lots of clarity. It's a native Leica Thread Mount, but easily adaptable for Leica M. I wanted this lens for my Leica M8 not only because of its compact size, but with the M8's 1.33 crop, this 15mm delivers a 21mm field of view. And when you set the lens to an f8, you have an awesome focus range from half a meter all the way to infinity, turning any rangefinder into a simple point and shoot. Now, when it comes to ultra-wide lenses, ones with aspherical elements are always going to be better performers. But any lens will benefit from an aspherical design. That's why high-end fixed lens cameras such as the Leica Qs or the Sony RX1s have aspherical lenses attached. But with that aspherical design comes a hefty price tag. This is where the little Voigtlander comes in clutch. The copy that I happened to find was in mint plus condition and just happened to come in the original double-sided leather Voigtlander case. One side holds the lens, while the other side holds the viewfinder, which has the frame lines for 15mm. But if you're using this on a crop sensor like the M8 and you want more accurate framing, you'll need to use something like this Ricoh Viewfinder, which has dual frame lines for both a 21 and 28mm, which comes in handy because when you put a 21mm on the M8, it has the field of view of a 28mm. But rumor has it that the entire viewfinder window has the full frame field of view equivalent to a 28mm lens. But we'll save all that for a future video. I do want to point out that both the Voigtlander and Ricoh viewfinders are heavy duty, meaning they feel well made and not like a toy. I know some people would say I'm giving this lens review a disservice by not showing it on a full frame camera. So that's why I picked up this T-Artisans adapter and tried it out on my A7S III. But lenses like this prove why the M8 is such a good option. Let's say I did have a full frame Leica rangefinder, and I wanted similar results as this aspherical 15mm on an M8. I would have to invest in the Leica 21mm L Merit aspherical, which goes for around $2,000, or the next jump up is the Leica Super Elmar 21mm aspherical, which runs $3,500 brand new. Meanwhile, I got this Voigtlander in mint condition with the viewfinder for only $400. Now, there is also the Voigtlander 21mm f3.5 aspherical, which is on sale right now for $700. But some online reviewers claim that this 15mm is sharper and delivers better results than the Leica 21mm L Merit aspherical. Yet those are all just online opinions, and we don't need to run around circles over that right now. Let's just focus on the images.
Skateboarding? No, hell no, not that thing. I wish. Actually,
Now again, these were all taken on the Leica M8. So any aberrations or distortions that may be going on in the corners or the edges of the frame does not apply. But here's some more samples taken on the full-frame A7S III, which may reveal any distortion or possible issues with the corners. Now there are two younger versions of this Voigtlander 15mm, which are both native M mount. Now those may be a better choice if you're not looking for the absolute smallest ultra wide angle lens. The younger versions are both rangefinder coupled and they have filter threads. This Mark I version is unfortunately not able to accept filters, so that's why the majority of my M8 photos are in monochrome, because I wasn't able to put an IR filter on this little lens. Yet one bonus of this Mark I version is that it's so small it does not block the viewfinder nor the rangefinder window. But with that being said, the biggest downside of this Mark I version is that it is not rangefinder coupled, which means it does not work with the rangefinder patch, meaning you're not able to get critical focus. In other words, if you're using the Mark I Voigtlander 15mm on a rangefinder without live view, the only way to focus is by zone focusing. But since it has such a massive depth of field, you only have two focus zones, near and far. Even ripped wide open at an f4.5, you still only have three focus zones, 0.3 meters to half a meter, 1¼ feet to 2½ feet, and then 2½ feet to infinity. So even when ripped wide open, everything from 2½ feet all the way to infinity will be in acceptable focus, making this lens awesome for street photography. The challenge is getting close enough to your subjects. Even when I'm right up on someone, the field of view is so wide that the subject still appears far away. So you definitely have to be fine with being a really intrusive person when using a lens this wide. Another challenge of the 15mm is getting a perfectly leveled shot. Because it's so wide, it's very easy to tell when the lens is not centered on axis. Another con of this lens is because it's so tiny, you sometimes will end up with a finger in your shot, which is actually a big issue with rangefinders because you're not able to see what the lens is actually seeing. But if you're just looking for a super compact ultra-wide option for either your Leica M8, the M8 II, or even another crop sensor camera like the more modern Fujifilm X Pro 3, this Voigtlander Super Wide-Heliar is a solid choice. And I don't know what Fuji offers in terms of a 21mm field of view lens. I, for one, have just never been a fan of investing in lenses that are not full frame. Yet, I do think it is wise to have at least one ultra-wide in your lens set. And if you're on full frame, anything under a 24mm will be fine for an ultra-wide option. But on a crop sensor, to be a true ultra-wide, you're gonna need something at least 16mm or wider. And when it comes to quality, performance, size, and price, the Voigtlander Super Wide-Heliar is an excellent option. For all of my cinematography friends that love to mod vintage lenses, I would go for something like this Mark III version because it's much larger and it will be way easier for pulling focus using focus motors, plus it does accept filters. But let me know what you all think. As always, links are down below to fast track your research. I appreciate the support. Speaking of support, I gotta give a huge shout out and thank you to all of the members of the Dog Times Patreon. If you don't know by now, my Patreon is an online virtual clubhouse for all things indie filmmaking, with exclusive weekly videos, behind the scenes, lighting breakdowns, cinematography breakdowns, blogs, and our own private Discord. So big thanks to this month's Patreon producer, Scott Myers. As always, thank you for watching. By the way, if you are totally brand new to my channel and you are still watching this, just do yourself a favor and smash that subscribe button. For now, that is a wrap.